All right. So we've got the new items and affixes blog post. I think it's the last one, isn't it? Until... Yeah, because tomorrow's patch notes. All right, let's see what they have to say. Hello, travelers, and thank you for joining us for another pre-patch blog post. In today's post, we're going to be taking a look at some of the new items and affixes you'll find in Terra with our release later this week. We're expanding the range of base items for boots, gloves, and belts. Very nice. And with the new armor sets coming in, as we talked about on Thursday, those will get new item base effects as well. Also very nice. Further, we'll take a look at a couple of new generic affixes, new mastery affixes, and a few of the new unique items. This is all exciting. Good stuff. You go, Merchants, or Magic 5, Merchants Guild. I'd switch to UF. Do you have to start a new character? No, you can do the same character, but you won't be able to wear most of the gear. All right, new item bases. Boots are receiving 2 new base items, as well as implicit changes for 2 other bases. The 2 new boot bases are both endgame boots. Citadel boots offering reduced bonus damage taken from crit strikes. That's very nice. And Vanguard offering an effective haste on you up to 50%. So that would be 15% move speed when you have haste, because you have 30% haste, or move speed from haste by default. That's pretty damn good. Those are both really nice, yeah? Those are both really nice. New glove bases. Gloves have had 3 new base items added and received changes to 3 existing implicits. Taking a look at 2 of the new implicits, the aesthetic gloves offer cooldown recovery speed. Nice. Well, the arcane bracers will offer flat mana increased mana regen. Okay, so only 12% CDR. That's not very exciting, to be honest. The way that CDR works in this game, that's not a lot. And then the mana regen, I gotta say, these are a little underwhelming. I'm not really super excited about these. Neither one look like they're going to make it into any builds as far as I can tell. Maybe the aesthetic gloves, but probably not. 24 mana regen is not too bad, though. Like, that one could actually make it in a few builds that are mana stackers or mana regen stackers. That one could make it in. Okay, new belt bases. Belts previously lacking diversity of selection. True, because it was always go armor, basically. Are receiving 4 new base items, as well as changes to 4 existing implicits. Today, we're taking a look at 3 of the new belts. The Divine Girdle, offering increased movement speed. The Praetorian Belt, offering high armor. And the Chain Belt, offering Ward Decay Threshold. Okay, so we got... This is... There we go. Increased move speed. Very interesting. Move speed on belt for the super speed farmers. Up to 250 armor now. So just like armor, but more. They did the armor, but now they do armor, but more. And then Ward Decay Threshold, okay. I honestly don't see a lot changing here, except you just do Praetorian Belt instead of one of the weaker belts. This looks like there's not much diversity change here. Soulfire Bastion Belt Day. New helm bases. New armor sets means new implicits. Taking a look at few helms, first is the Mage's new Tyrant Crown, offering elemental damage leeches health. That is very strong. Depending on whether or not you're not just going ward, which you probably are. But if you weren't, if there wasn't the ward low life meta, that's a good looking item. And it's hard to get leech on mages, so very interesting. Next up, the Rogue's Blood Visage Helm. The increased damage over time and bleed duration provides a great option for rogues many dot builds. Well, mostly just for your bleed builds, but okay. Lastly, the Acolyte Necropolis Helm offers Ward Decay Threshold and Ward Gained on Kill for strong ward retention and some ward generation. Let's take a look here. Good if you're doing Twisted Heart. True. Yes, this is good for Twisted. That's probably it for now, but it's good for Twisted. This is good if you're going Bleed. It is 95% dot. I still don't think you'd probably take this, but that is pretty high. And then 173 Ward Decay Threshold and 17 Ward Kill. This is a maybe. I mean, if you're going Lich, you don't want this because you almost are certainly going to run Death Seal. And then Ward Decay Threshold means nothing to you, but maybe as a Warlock or a Necro, this is pretty good. It's not as good as Ward Retention. Ward Decay Threshold is just not as good, unless it's a really high number. I'm not sure if 173 is enough to make it very good, but it might still be worth. The bleed damage numbers are too high. Most of them use the stat Helm of Bleed Duration. So is this better? What's up, ya boy? Okay, so there's that. New body armor bases. Along with the new helm base items, the new class-specific armor sets also mean new body armor base items. Today, we're looking at 3 of the upcoming base body armors as well. First, the Apocalypse Plate offering armor, stun avoidance, and an increased echo damage when a skill is echoed. Okay, that's a weird combo. Warpath doesn't give a shit about the stun avoidance, but does like the increased echo damage. Up second is the Primalist Beastmail, providing armor, increased movement speed, and health regen. Great body for minion players, use mobility and regen. Finally, the Acolyte's Coven Robes. Armor, increased cast speed, and mana regen. Alright, let's see. Stun avoidance, bleh. To 130. I could see this if you're going to go full offense. It's got a lot of armor on it, so that might make it worth it. Tough to say. 16 health regen is a lot on here. Health regen has typically been pretty bad, though. So, I mean, 10% move speed is nice if you're trying to go fast. These are underwhelming so far. Yeah, cast speeds, meh. Mana regens, eh. Yeah, these don't seem super great. They're okay. I don't see them making the meta necessarily, unless we actually did go to regen Primalist. But see, the thing about Primalist, it gets so much leech in so many places that it's hard. Like, I think they're thinking like a minion style thing, but in minion you can just go with like health on minion hit, and it's way better. You don't have to spend a bunch of affixes on it. All right, new affixes. February 21st will bring with it 12 new general weapon affixes, with several classes receiving new and updated skills. We're also adding an additional 33 idle, body armor, helmet, and relic affixes. That's a lot. Weapon affixes. One area of feedback we received is a lack of effective stats on weapons for some builds, and in particular minion builds. True. To help address this, we're adding a few new affixes. Covering 10 of the 12 new weapon affixes. That's most of them. We're looking at 2 groups of suffixes you'll be able to find in several weapon types. Increased minion damage is a stat which is in fairly high supply in last Epoch, where minion flat damage is quite rare. True. So to make the weapon affix feel more impactful, we've changed the minion damage suffixes to offer flat damage to minions instead of increased damage. That's a very powerful, potentially very powerful stat. This is not high, but we don't know how high it's actually going to roll. This might be a tier 2 or tier 1 for all we know. Let's see. These will come in 3 flavors: minion melee damage and minion spell damage, minion spell damage and minion bow damage, and minion melee damage and minion bow damage. Okay, so there's 2 of each. Okay. So you can, like, if you double suffix, you could do like minion spell damage, or minion bow, or minion melee. That's pretty cool. Minion bow damage on a scepter. Yeah, it's the minion doing it. So it's okay. It's totally thematic. Is a more general purpose affix. As a more general, we've also had a new suffix, which grants damage penetration to both you and yourself. As a suffix, that's crazy. Say that 10 times. I can't even say that 10 times fast. I can't say anything actually 10 times fast. The suffix is available for each of the 7 damage types, though are rare and can only be found in endgame items. So this is like a straight damage buff. It's in an area that's relatively non-competitive on a lot of builds. This could be very powerful. Higher than tier 6 pen on Nex? Yeah, already. That might be a tier 2 for all we know. Minions were weak anyways. Yeah, this will help buff the the poor minions who aren't very strong. Be interesting to see if this comes with minion nerfs to like account for that, because minions are already pretty damn strong. Class-specific affixes. With the new masteries and skills coming on the 21st, we'll also be adding a number of relevant class-specific affixes. We've offered a selection of a number of these affixes you can look forward to below. Warlock affixes. Idle, Sickening, Prefix. Increased damage over time while you have an ailment overload. That's a very much Warlock thing, yeah. Body armor. Increased spirit frequency with chthonic fissures. Helm, percent chance for 3 additional projectiles when you directly cast Chaos Bolts. Can Chaos Bolt shotgun? Probably not. Relic plus X to level of Profane Veil. Percent increased damage over time. Spirit frequency might be wild if you sustain mana. Interesting. Falconer affixes. Hell yeah, brother. Idle, Scattering suffix. Percent increased area with caltrops. Percent chance to shred armor on hit with caltrops. Idle, Winged prefix. Percent chance to deal double damage with Falcon Strikes. That could be good. Depending on how good Falcon Strikes is, that could be good. It's effectively 11% more damage if you have 11% chance to deal double damage. Body armor plus X to level explosive trap and plus percent, excuse me, and percent increased throwing damage. That's pretty generic for a plus throwing skill, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. More spirits equals more chaos bolts. Nice. Sound it out. No. Primalist gathering storm affixes. Idle reckoning prefix. Percent increased frequency of expanding storm strikes. Okay. Body armor plus X level gathering storm and percent increased area for area skills. I don't think we've seen area on a plus skill have we before? That's pretty cool. Helm percent chance to gain a storm stack when you use gathering storm and hit an enemy. Well, that's pretty cool. Talking is hard sometimes. For some of us, it's hard all of the time. English? No, I don't speak it. I don't really speak any language, at least not well. Still using health res idols. Double damage mods are going to be juicy for dive bombing one-shotting. Yeah, that's true. It could be. All right, now we've got the uniques. This looks cool. All right, Sigion's Reprisal. See, I said that. I enunciated it. This shield offers a new way to create a retaliation build by granting shield throwing damage based on your damage reflected. Weren't we just talking about this? Were we just talking about this like yesterday? About there's not any way to get reflect to work unless you just did something like this? Well, here it is, as well as a chance to retaliate with shield throw when you block. So +1 throwing damage for shield throw per 10 damage reflected to attackers. You're gonna be so lost in this game and loving it. All the stats and stuff and cool things to check out. Hell yeah, brother. 28% chance to retail with shield throw and block with a 0.5 cooldown, 0.5 second cooldown. That's trash right there. But this is very interesting. Very, very interesting. What's Weaver's Will? Weaver's Will is an alternative form of like getting a legendary instead of you smashing an item with legendary potential and an item with an exalted affix into each other. You just wear the item and it gives you affixes based on whatever number of Weaver's Will you have. So if you have like 17 Weaver's Will, you'll eventually get 17 total tiers of affixes on the item. That's the next item? Okay, cool. You're happy? Okay. Communion of the Erased, a new Weaver's Will item. Communion of the Erased doubles all stats on the belt for 1 second for using a potion, as well as grants additional potion slots for each Weaver's Will item you have equipped. Very interesting. Stats on this item are doubled for 1 second using a potion. +1 potion slot per equipped Weaver item. 51% increased armor. 33% of mana spent gained as ward. 12% more damage to stun enemies. I'm going to tell you guys, I think this is probably going to be trash, but it looks cool, right? It does look cool. But I think it's probably useless. It doesn't do any more damage to the bosses on most builds because you won't stun them. The increased armor is okay. I guess that's a nice stat. The doubled for 1 second. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Looks painful. Yeah, it doesn't look like you want to wear it. I don't want to wear this. The ward any good? Usually ward or mana spent gained as ward is not good because you just can't spend enough mana fast enough for it to keep up with other ward options. Best you can do is 500 gold. All right, Falcon Fists. That sounds interesting. Unarmed builds are always a common topic of discussion. While we don't have any core mechanics for unarmed combat, the last unarmed unique we introduced has been quite popular. That's the one for Judgment. We felt the Falconer, by the way, Darth Micro was playing that. We felt the Falconer had a great opportunity to add another, synergizing with Cinder Strike and your Falcon. I love Cinder Strike, I want it to be good. This new unique allows you to punch your way to victory. That's what this looked like. Oh, okay, 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 okay. I mean, that looks like a freaking monk right there, bro. Yeah, monk Birb? That looks legit. Okay, let's see what these have for stats. +13 Cinder Strike melee damage per level of falconry while unarmed. You can get like 25 levels or something like that. What's the math work out to that? 25? 325? 4% increased Cinder Strike area per level of falconry. That's 100% if you have a 25. And you get +3 to Cinder Strike here, so you can get even more to that. Oh, and this is falconry, right? For falconry, you get +4 to falconry. So you get 24 just to start with by wearing this item. Then you get extra on top. While unarmed, your falcon hits grant Cinder Strike +4 melee damage and 1% increased area for 6 seconds. Bruh, this sounds fun. Like, this one sounds fun. Gonna have 80 LP. You're playing this? 15% melee attack speed, 24 melee fire damage for you and your minions. There's so much added on that. What forum post is this? That one. Full sending a bill of this if you find them. They look insane. Yeah, we'll see how hard it is. It's a level 27. That usually means it's pretty common. That usually means pretty common. If it has 17 effective level, then that would be amazing because lower is better. It'd probably have like 90, right? I would, if I predicted, I'm gonna predict this actually probably has pretty low, which is good. It probably is pretty easy to get legendary potential. It's probably pretty common because this looks like a build enabling unique, and those are usually pretty common. They're common. Yeah, looks cool. What's this? Spine of Malatros. This two-handed sword designed for warlocks not only changes mechanics but also visuals. Spine of Malatros will replace your Chthonic Fissure's spirit with flame whips and grants flame whips additional benefits. That looks insane. I don't know if it's any good, but it looks so cool. Like, Warlock is really a really cool looking class. +3 to fire skills, +2 to damage over time skills, and +2 to acolyte skills. Holy. Chthonic Fissures cast Flame Whip instead of releasing spirits. Chthonic Fissures skill tree applies to Flame Whip from all sources. Wow. So you can give Flame Whip multipliers? Is that right? +6 critical strike multiplier with Flame Whip per 10% uncapped necrotic. And 68 spell damage. And you look amazing because you have a fucking two-handed sword that's made out of a backbone. Dude, that's cool. The Falconer gloves turn you into Captain Falcon. Nice. Well, that's insane. I like that a lot. Vial of Volatile Ice is next. This says Acid Flask. Wait. The last item we're having a look at today, which also changes visuals. The Vial of Volatile Ice is a new unique catalyst for rogues. This item will convert Acid Flask to cold and grant it Frostbite chance for a completely new way to build Acid Flask. That looks cool. Hey, Hunter. All right, let's see the stats, though. It looks cool. Is it good? 100% of Acid Flask base damage converted to cold. Poison chance from all sources converted to Frostbite chance. Frostbite is easier to scale than Poison right now. 55% chance to apply Frostbite on cold. Well, on some builds. I wonder if it's going to be easier to scale on Rogue. 20% increased cold damage and 69% freeze rate multi. 69% nice. I don't see anything in here that really makes it good, though. I don't see like anything in here that gives you a lot more damage. It gives you the Frostbite chance in the area, but there's like not a lot here. Acid Flask leveling. This doesn't seem to have a level requirement on it, but you have to get it to drop. Wanted the bird to be able to poop. This will be close. Falcon dropping Ice Flask. There's a class in Yakuza 7 that uses wine bottle as a weapon, and its ultimate weapon is a cold element wine bottle. Interesting. Question about Shadow Daggers, Blade Dancer, okay. Why so many points into Marksman? Is it just for the damage reduction and the crit avoidance, or the crit vulnerability, removing crit avoidance on enemies? +4 int on it? Yeah, it's a weird stat for it to have. It doesn't really make a lot of sense because you don't scale this with int. It's only doesn't even make sense for low life builds on Rogue because low life builds are gonna go strength stacking. Good for a combo with Flurry, Puncture, Trap. I'm struggling to see this actually being good. It doesn't have anything that's like scaling damage like the other ones. Like, it's easy for me to see how this is going to be good and how this is going to be good because they have scalers that you can then buff the damage up. I don't really see anything here that's going to make... If Acid Flask isn't good, then Cold Acid Flask also isn't good. As far as I can tell. Whereas if Acid Flask is good, then Cold Acid Flask probably good. With an Explosive Trap int stacker. This wouldn't do Explosive Trap, though. Another puzzle piece missing? Maybe. Maybe there is. All right, there we go. This brings us to the close for today's pre-patch blog post on new items and fixes. Continuing to build upon existing gearing options, we feel these additions help further itemization with the last epoch, bring us up to our release standards. Hope the increased diversity of item options will help many builds. Sure to join us again tomorrow as we're wrapping up the series of pre-patch blog posts with a full patch notes tomorrow. Full patch notes, hell yeah, brother! All right, that was good. Overall, it's good. I mean, you know, there's some hits, there's some misses, but overall, more diversity. Gotta love it.